Hi guys, and welcome back to the show. I'm Ellie.
And I'm Jessica, and this is Version of Events.
And this week we have a very special episode for you about Jax Gratton, who was a 34-year-old transgender woman from Denver, Colorado. She went missing on April the 15th of this year, and her body was found on June the 6th under unexplained circumstances.
Today we're talking with two people who knew and loved her most. Her mom, Cherilynn Gratton-Camis, who many of us know as Mama C, and Jax's sister, Monroe Mastro.
Now, this is not an easy conversation. It's very raw and very real. Mama C and Monroe speak about who Jax was, their daughter, their sister, the friend that they loved, and about the fight for answers since her death.
We want to say up front, what you're about to hear deals with loss, grief, and unanswered questions. Please take care while listening.
It matters to us that Jax isn't only remembered for the circumstances of her death. She was a whole person, creative, funny, brave, loving, and the people that knew her best deserve to be heard.
So here's our conversation with Cherilynn and Monroe, remembering Jax and speaking out for justice. So welcome to the show, Cherilynn and Monroe.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Not at all.
And
We've been trying to do this for a long time.
yes, it's really good to have you with us. And we're kind of aware of the sort of the tragedy that has happened to you guys, but we want to talk as well about Jax as a person. So I suppose, what was Jax like growing up, and as your sister, as your daughter? What was that like? What was she like?
Jax was definitely my polar opposite. She was very girly. She was very outgoing. She was very loud. She was very messy. But at the end of the day, she was my sister, and she was a great person.
Well, my beautiful daughter, Jack, was all performing from the time she was very little. Could not sing, but to get on American Idol. Always knew her worth. She was dynamic. She had so many friends. And with her passing, I think that's what was astonishing, is that she had friends reach out from elementary school. Sorry.
Take your time.
I mean, I had so many people.
It's okay.
Yeah, I had so many people who reached out through Facebook or Instagram that said, I knew Jax from Rainbow Alley, which was when she was in high school, middle school,
high school.
And so, yeah, there were so many people who were like, oh, I met you when you were little, and, if you need anything, reach out. So that was pretty cool to see how many people really loved her and supported her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it is, and they still are. I could not keep up. I'm fighting for justice for Jax. I could not continue without all of their help. People in Tennessee, in Council Bluff, Iowa, in Moscow, Idaho, just everywhere that Jax lived, Las Vegas, Nevada, people reached out there from there, and people just writing letters and fighting for justice for Jax. One of her best friends, Megan, that she went to elementary school for, and we lived on the same block, lives in Germany, and has been a key person to help me write statements and so on and so forth, because sometimes I just get absolutely overwhelmed with how much work goes into someone's death. and for fighting for justice. This is a 24-hour job, it seems like.
Yeah, I can imagine that it is a very draining job, though hopefully in the end a rewarding one. As hopefully we achieve justice for Jax.
Yeah. There's something that I wanted to ask about, because we've talked a little bit about this off air and you posted about it. The porch pirate incident, Jax chasing down the package stealer and then the purse snatcher. Those things just seem like Jax moments. Is that
Exactly. I'm trying to find the tape where she chased down a man who had stolen a woman's purse. And I don't know what channel. So if anybody, and she was in heels, fully dressed, mini skirt, nylons, chasing him down. And that's just the person she was. The only problem is it would get her in trouble. She always spoke the truth and she always stuck up for the underdog. I don't know how many times on public transportation, especially after she transitioned, that somebody was picking on a homeless person or an elderly Black person or different race or different gender. And Jax would go toe to toe with them. Usually she was very quick tongue, much quicker than mine, and would be able to put people in their place. But as Jax's mother and hearing of each and every incident scared me to death always. But she continued, and she did it because she had a moral compass. That also she was very she was tall in stature. She had a strong stature, a straight back, and her chin was always upright. She walked with authority. So I figured that she thought in her own head that if she wasn't going to, she would be the best person to jump in, because who's going to mess with her? So she did. And she did it often.
That's amazing. It's so nice to hear more about Jax. It makes her more real in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was necessarily the right words, but it's just
more of a whole person, not just Jax as the person who we've heard this that she's gone, but who she was. I think that feels really important to both of us. And Jax was a woman of faith, I understand, and that's like, it was very important to you that she had the rosary service. Correct? How do you feel that kind of, I suppose, influenced the way that Jax lived, that she lived?
Well, she wore her faith, and we do have her journals, which are incredible, and she talks about faith and so on and so forth. I'm Lutheran. I raised Monroe in the Lutheran church, and all of my children, I said, I do not care as long as you're confirmed in whatever church you want to be in. Jax wanted to be Catholic. She liked the pomp and circumstance. She was a person that loved holidays, of Easter and Christmas and birthdays, especially her birthday. And it was just her faith. The first week, she insisted on going to private Catholic school. And my mother said that she would pay. And she had to talk to Sister Margaret, who's still there, still alive. And by the second day, I went to the church because my mother played organ there, or she just knew a lot of people there. And there was Jax leading the sermon. They would walk over from St. Mary's to the church, and she didn't know. I mean, I wouldn't have thought she knew what she was doing, but she certainly did, and she did not hesitate. She did not mess up on words. She was very demanding, and here's this person that we just recently we moved from Moscow or from Las Vegas or from Denver. Where were we at? Las Vegas to Moscow, Idaho, which for my children that was terribly hard because they went to going from the fast life, lots of eating out. They had nannies and so on and so forth, to Moscow, Idaho, where it's just family. So they didn't have a lot of, but Jax immersed herself into the community.
When Jax put her mind to something, she was gonna do it no matter what. You really couldn't change her mind. So yeah, I think it was the same thing with Faith. Is she believed in it, and that's how she led her life.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And she loved going to mass, especially on holidays. And she would send me selfies. I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but she looked like a Southern Baptist Sunday go to church, going to a Catholic church, which they don't really quite. We don't dress the same way or act the same way. But that didn't matter to Jax. She just wanted to go and listen and believe and go to confession and take communion. That was her goal. The crazy thing is, before I knew she was missing, she didn't contact me on Easter. So I knew something was up. And then right after Easter Sunday, Pope Francis had passed. And that was so strange. Jax didn't call me, because the whole time Pope Francis was Pope, that was rock star, would send me clips of places that Pope Francis spoke at. She really felt an ally with that Pope. Yeah. She felt that the world was changing. Not only her faith, but through Pope Francis, things would change, and it would be a kinder, welcoming to the cause. And that's when I really knew something crazy, terrible had happened. I had talked to her on the 11th. She was very, very busy. She was sending Monroe a package, and she looked great. She was ready for the day, and she was happy, and she was excited for her future. She was excited that she had beat the tariffs because she'd ordered a whole bunch of hair extensions from China. Spent a lot of money on it, but she felt that was a good thing. And the horrible thing is all of that product arrived at her salon when she went missing. I mean, had already been missing a couple weeks, and here was Jack's order of expensive. She always used very expensive hair dye, very expensive hair, and so on and so forth. So all of that sat in her salon until just recently it got cleaned out. So, but she was a smart businesswoman, beating those.
Yes, definitely. Now, as you've mentioned, Jax was a hairstylist, and we've read a lot that her salon was super inclusive and that people just felt safe being there, that they felt cared for, and that she also used to cut hair for homeless people. Can you tell us more about that side of Jax?
Yes. Jax was very prideful that she would give free gender affirming haircuts and hair makeovers and face makeovers. She also had a huge closet. So a lot of times, her clothes she would give away, to help with that. The other thing she loved to do was go to the homeless encampments and do shave and a haircut. She kind of had like a mobile service, never took any money, would just ask people. And it's crazy because she never posted that stuff on her social media. I have pictures of her and before and afters, but I think that she felt maybe invasion of privacy for if she posted them. But I
also don't think she ever needed the recognition from it. Like, she was doing that because she wanted to, because it was the right thing to do. So for her to post it, I feel like, knowing Jack, she would feel guilty about that. Yeah, I think you would probably get a lot of calls from Jax about if she should delete it or not.
Yeah. Oh, and she controlled my social media for sure. And Miss Monroe's. She definitely knew what she wanted posted and what she didn't want posting. But she was in the fight. She loved her advocacy or speaking up. She was very proud of that. And I'm very proud of that too. The fashion shows. She did post a lot about her fashion shows and her doing the hair and makeup. And the Denver Fashion Week was absolutely her favorite. And, she was an educator. She taught a lot of people at Aveda and at Emily Griffith. I might be wrong about Aveda, but I know at Emily Griffith. And these people now are the ones that are, there was a fashion show and one of her students was being featured and did a lot of it. And she reached out to me and I got to see the video of her, but she thanked Jax for teaching her so well. And that makes me very, very proud. Because really Jax was a fashionista. In the beginning, she really wanted to design. And she just kind of fell into the hair, but she was really, really good at the hair and making people comfortable. She had people, Stacy Gilmore, who is a city council member in Denver, Colorado. Once we started posting, she called me on the phone and I had no idea who it was. And she said, Cherilynne, we need to put up a reward. I said, I have no money. I was sick the last couple of years. I do not have any money to raise a reward. And she talked me through it. And she said, no, that's put up by us, the city council, or from the Denver Police Department. So I got to ask her how she knew Jax. Jax had cut her hair when she was in beauty school.
Wow.
And this city council member followed her to every single place and every single salon that Jax had gone to. It was, and to this day, I reached out to her yesterday because I'm trying to write up the independent oversight for the city council. And I thought that she would be, because it's Lakewood and Denver, two separate areas. So I reached out to her asking for help. But this is a woman that followed Jax because of her personality. And there's a lot of families like that, a lot of families that just would find her and go back to her. She had 928 clients in her computer. Wow. And that's an awful lot of clients. I don't, it's crazy. And one thing that she did do also in the beginning, I thought, did something happen to her? Because it looked like she was going to do someone's hair. She told the roommate that she was going to be gone for 3 hours. Well, a lot of the stuff that Jax does is the specialty cut and color. And when you do the vibrant colors, you have to bleach it out first, and then you have to leave each color on for an extended period of time. So about 3 hours would be a shampoo, cut, color, and style. It would be about 3 hours. And the bag that she left with was from a beauty supply place. So to me, that made perfect sense. But I don't know how I got off on that. Oh, she would go to people's houses and do their hair. And especially when you're in a wheelchair or not able to get to a salon, she would go and do people's hair, wash and set it or color it or cut it or whatever. And to me, that was awesome. Now, she couldn't charge because your license is just to that place. But she would go. I mean, I don't know how many people were just like, I got hit by a car. Jack came once a week and did my hair or did my nails, which is incredible because a lot of people wouldn't do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really emotional. Sorry.
That's okay. You're okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, Jessica, because you've been there really from the beginning. I think we first started talking when she was missing. And I was horrified and I didn't know what to do. And you guys reported on her missing and so on and so forth. I didn't know how to work a Zoom, and I still don't. And I don't even want to learn how to work a Zoom because I've had so many news people that are just darn right rude. When they hounded me and hounded me and hounded me. And then when I needed them to show up at city council meetings, they weren't there. And to me, that's rude.
Yeah.
Downright rude.
I agree.
Now, yeah, it was just, and I can understand. You can tell me. I had one news station that I will never talk to again that told me that Jax was old news.
Oh.
And that really, really made me mad because they were the ones wanting my time and asking me personal questions that I didn't have to share, and I shared. And that's my one regret for my daughter. Of course, the biggest is that she was not found alive. But the other one is I asked Monroe my daughter. Luckily, my sons did not, participate in any of that. But it really feels dirty and wrong when they cannot report on what we're trying to do next. So, one thing I do want to say is we searched for Jax for 7 weeks, but I know as a mother and an intellect that my daughter died either late night of the 15th or early morning of the 16th. She was not all of the stories that I had to listen to. All of the people that said that she was in a drug house or they used drugs with her, but they can't remember, were all wrong. And even now, there's people stating that she was a relapsed addict. I have all of her medical records. My daughter never shot heroin into her body. That was a huge one that the roommate's girlfriend was hanging on to and was telling people. Jax had a hard time with needles. Jax did not even take her gender affirming hormones through a needle. She took all of it orally. When she went into surgeries, they had to give her stuff to relax so they could start IVs. And I have that from an email from a nurse that took care of her. So all these people I think that I have to put it in my head that Jack's light was so bright that people needed to get a little bit of it. And hopefully it makes them kinder and nicer for the lies. Hopefully they had to steal a little bit of her light that way. I don't know why people would do that, but I have to tell myself that they had to have a little bit of Jack's life, maybe to make their life better. So enough of that.
Thank you so much for sharing everything that you shared about Jax with us, Jax's life and who she was. Sadly, I'd like to come on to, when Jax went missing, and we know that was April the 15th. I said, can you walk us through that time? When was the last time that you heard from Jax, and when did you kind of realize something was wrong?
I to Jax a lot. Do you remember the last I talked to Jax?
I talked to her at like maybe in October, November.
Oh, correct.
Like, but that was just like about hair products and stuff. But I was asking her about how to get healthy hair and what I can do. And obviously, I play college basketball, and then she is very successful in her business. So we weren't always able to talk, but I feel like we definitely communicated through our mom. Like, we would ask each other about, what we were doing.
I would send the link to Jax to watch the basketball games. And a lot of times, she was busy. She did go to AA every single night at 10 o'clock. So her game, she played Pacific time. So a lot of times Jax would have to miss it, but she would, I think I don't have the phone with me of after her game. And she'd say, okay, how many points did she score? How many data? She would want to know all of that. And then of course, Jax did not, this is kind of sad. If I posted a lot about Monroe, playing basketball, but I had, I had started tagging Jax, I think when we lived in Vegas, and Monroe was playing high school basketball and her team did really, really well. Won state, went to nationals. But I had sent Jax, some of her tapes, and some troll had, said awful things, on them. So Jax had stated that, he didn't want Monroe to understand any of that, what was going on. So I had to send Jack's film to her personally, because she didn't want Monroe to see the horrible things that people would say about Jax, or in turn about Monroe, because Monroe was Jack's sister. So I don't know how I got on that. But the last time I talked to her was April 11th.
Oh, well, I guess I talked to her on my birthday.
You talked to her February 28th.
When I said I talked to her, she was very bad at answering her phone. So a lot of the times it was like voicemails from each other. But yeah, she never missed like a birthday. I think that's when my mom told me I was doing like my homework and stuff, and she said, we think Jax is missing, we can't hear from her. And it all made sense because I had wished her a happy Easter, and it was like pretty late in the day, and usually Jax texts me in the morning for any like holidays or anything like that, especially Easter, it being, a religious holiday. So yeah, that was definitely very strange.
Yeah. But so the last time you talked to her was on your birthday, February 28th.
Yeah.
It's wonderful because Monroe knows how to do voice recordings on her phone. So she has saved all of Jack's recordings. So that's really nice that we have that to hear her voice. Because I just need to hear her voice a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, so April 11th, she called at the post office and wanted Monroe's school address because she was sending her hair products. She was happy. She was beautiful. She always did this. I mean, she just moved like a princess. And that was a lot. She told me how busy she was because she was trying to get everything up and running, and she had this new job plan and so on, and she's going to charge more and so on and so forth. And so I knew it was Easter coming up, so I didn't bother her. I knew she had moved into a new place with this guy. And I didn't worry about it. And then first thing Easter morning, I tried to reach her, couldn't reach her. Tried throughout the day, left texts. And when I think the last time I called her was it was right before midnight because it was still Easter. And I thought, maybe she's at friend's house. Maybe she went up to Aspen. Maybe she, I didn't know. And then when I got up the next morning, actually, I don't think I slept. I think about 4:00 in the morning, or my time, is when they started announcing that Pope Francis had passed. And then I just got sick to my stomach and horrified. So the next day, so that was Easter Sunday. Monday, started looking at police reports, calling hospitals, calling morgues, because I just had a feeling something horrible was wrong. Called my ex-husband, Jack's father. He was kind of nonchalant about it, but said he had friends in Denver and he'd get them to go by her shop and so on and so forth. And I had called her shop number thinking that she would be at work. I thought she was mad at me or something.
And when it was very normal for her to not pick up like my phone call or my brother's or my dad, it was very like normal for her to be too busy. But if my mom called her, it was, she'd pick up right away. Like my mom was her person. So that was definitely strange.
So the 21st was when I really was like, what in the heck is going on? And Pope Francis had died. So I started calling hospitals and morgues. And I think that was the day, the 21st, that I posted. I waited. I didn't post that day because I didn't I figured it was kind of bizarre. So this is horrible. Because when I was calling the hospitals and my ex-husband, I let him check in the jail. I guess Colorado has a good way to check jails, and I don't know much about that. But calling hospitals and the morgues, the coroners, I was asking if they had a Jax Gratton. My daughter's missing. I was asking about my daughter. And then on the 23rd, so Nance Foley called me, I think on the 22nd, and said, have you talked to Jax? Jax isn't here. Jax is supposed to have a hair appointment with me and I can't find her. and that was Jack's Denver mom. They did great adventures, and Jax always did her hair up right. Best friends, dinners and shows and concerts, lots of traveling. So that was Jack's Denver mom. So she called me and said, I don't know where Jax is. So I knew something was up. So I tried calling the police, the missing persons line. I got a message machine that they only answer at 8:00 in the morning. So I called Nance back, and this was in the afternoon. And I called Nance back, and she said, Sherry, I'll report her. I'll report her missing. So she called, and she got a hold of an actual officer, because if you don't live in the state, what they want to do, and I didn't find this out till the next day when I actually talked to somebody. So Nance called and said, the roommate, I guess, already reported her missing, that she's missing. And oh my gosh, they did not take a missing persons from Nance. So the next morning, I didn't think anybody would call me, because the roommate had already made a missing persons report. And this detective, Ted Benet from the Denver Police Department, returned my call. And it was 7:00 in the morning, which they said after 8. So I start going through, and I said, but hold on, because the roommate already already did a missing persons report. He said, no, that is not true. And how I seem to believe it is Brandy from the salon had done a welfare check. And so Denver police had gone to Joe Rolls and this person's house.
We can call him Joe, that's fine.
Okay. Gone to Joe's house and said Jax had been missing. Jax went out on a date, and left her cat, and she's done this before, and so on and so forth. Well, I don't like that person very much. So it went downhill from there. So they took my missing person, so on and so forth. Denver police, this Ted Benet was fabulous, but now that it's come down to it, was he really? I mean, he was very kind to me, and he always wanted to make sure I was doing okay, because I was totally honest with Ted Benet, the detective. I mean, anything I could do, because I would get at least 50 sightings of Jack. Well, first of all, they reported her with red hair and 5'8". So I got every picture of every redhead, natural redhead. It was a rinse, so it was not natural red. It was not a natural redhead. Every transgender woman I got to see within the Colorado area, people were sending me that stuff. Unbeknownst to me, she'd already been dead for days.
I mean, there's also people who would call in and just kind of troll and call my mom and tell her, oh, we saw her here and she's with these really bad guys and she's going here, or this other story that they saw her in a park, or whatever it would be. And, you know, obviously my mom would follow every single one of those, and they would just be people who are just thinking it's funny, or, well, like, yeah, like my mom would be up all night, or I'd hear the next morning, oh, we got this tip and this tip and this tip, and only one of them would be maybe a real tip that like might help us.
Yeah, we didn't get any good tips of her being alive. The bad thing is that I know Denver police knew the person on the 28th of April, because Joe Roll, why he was not a suspect is because Ted Benet had told me that Joe Roll is doing everything we ask. He's bringing in the tape today. He's bringing in all the tape. So he brought in the tape, Joe Roll then down the road gave the still pictures of his tape of the person that was in Jack's house, the person who picked Jax up on May 18th. And I pulled it down off the website because I wanted this person caught. I sent it over to Ted Benet. He said, yes, we know that. We have that tape. We know that person. And he just said, he's a person of interest. This person picked my daughter up at 9:00 at night, took her back to his office, said horrible things, said that she purposely used GHB, which is the date rape drug. But they knew that. They had that person's picture on 8/28. Now, I did not even find out about the second person. Now, this goes into Lakewood. And I actually heard that tippet from the Lakewood police on a phone call, who told me that, well, first off, with the Lakewood police, they wanted me to make sure that I knew that it was not a hate crime. And my answer was, how do you know it's not a hate crime? You have no idea. Did you talk to the coroner? No, we haven't talked to the coroner. Did you get the toxology back? Nope, didn't get that back. So how can you guarantee me that it's not a hate crime? So that was fought about. People giving in false tips. I had one girl just recently, this CC, who claims to be Jack's friend, was talking about that we cannot go after the police and so on and so forth. She is not transgender. She has not heard the stories that I've heard of the abuse that takes place of transgender women who cannot report rape. That to me is horrifying, is absolutely horrifying. Who do you call when you need help if it's not the police? They took an oath to serve and protect. That's not serving and protecting. Let me get back. So Lakewood police are the ones that told me about the person and I said, well, did you arrest him? No, because they need more evidence. I did not know at that time. They had told me that Jax was found in an alley by a passerby. So when you think of an alley, I think of an alley that a car can get down. I think of an alley that you can walk down. It was no alley at all. So what is this?
So this is the space that Jax is found in, the gap between the two buildings. It's very narrow, isn't it?
Very narrow.
And there's like electrical boxes.
Yeah, they're not like, I don't know
like
what they
are
are
in there.
Yeah, that are
like metal
from someplace else. Put those because put these boxes there. Now the coroner is stating that Jack's injuries could be from those boxes. No. And if anybody were to be a math wizard and do velocity and the weight of Jax and the height that Jax would have fell from, jumped from, pushed from, makes absolutely no sense. These people, no head injury, absolutely no head injury. Which when you're, I could go on and on with the math and science of that. And I would love to be in the room with this wonderful coroner or with the police that think they've got it figured out. Somebody killed Jax and placed her in that alley, thinking that nobody would find her. When they're saying the side windows, are not even as wide as Monroe's shoulders.
Like the part that would actually open?
The part that would actually open. Jax was almost 6 feet tall. There is no way. And another thing, there is no way Jax is going to jump into darkness. Jax did not like the dark, did not like heights. So that's another one. Thank you, Lakewood Police, for putting that in somebody's mind, because there is no way, especially not wearing her glasses. She's blind like me, or wearing her shoes, or no shirt. And they don't think she was wearing underwear. But I have to tell you, my daughter always, always, always wore Spanx underneath whatever it was she was wearing. The same pants that she was found in, I have those pants, and they're a swimming suit cover-up. She would be wearing Spanx. I won't get into why, but I can guarantee you.
As the transgender woman on the panel, I will just vouch for the fact that as a transgender woman, for obvious reasons, I wear tight underwear. Trans women wear tight underwear.
Yep.
And I'll leave it at that. So yeah, this is what I wanted to clarify. Jax, my understanding is Jax didn't have her phone, her glasses, her shoes.
Her shoes.
So what was she found to be wearing? And she didn't have those things. Have any of those been recovered?
She was recovered with her pants, wearing pants. She had a fishnet bodysuit that she was wearing, which she wore a lot. She wore underneath skirts, but she still would wear underwear. She more of like an aesthetic, if you're going to wear a crop top and a shirt over top, just, not that that makes any sense, but the police seem to think that the fishnet bodysuit would take place of her tight underwear, which is absolutely not true. Because can you imagine wearing a fishnet bodysuit without?
They don't employ any trans women. I'm not even convinced they employ any cis women. Actually, but
no,
terrible.
Isn't that terrible? I mean, to say that, no bra, so that, and she was wearing a coat, but not the same coat that she left with. I don't know, because I didn't see. My advocate went in because I demanded, when they started telling me, I thought that she was going in to see the film that the Lakewood Police said that they had of Jax taking GHB and having consensual sex, because I thought this guy drove her to his office. She took GHB and they had casual sex. That's exactly how they put it to me. And that person was a person of her community. I did have to point out to the police, Jax had many boyfriends, and the ones that wined her and dined her, that she fell in love with, wanted to have a long-term relationship, the ones that broke her heart, some of them had wives and children or had girlfriends. So that is not a person of Jack's community. Jack's community, are you telling me from Jack's hair community? Are you talking about Jack's wellness community? Are you talking about Jack's transgender community? What community are you talking about? Because they were so had to show me that it was not a hate crime. Now, I have done my research. I did not know that there are cultures of gay men, just gay men, not transgender, that absolutely hate transgender women. And they call them, in the United States, they call them groomers. And they search out these women, and they beat them after having sex with them, which is absolutely horrifying. And a lot of times these transgender women, when they do report it, are poo-pooed by the police. They don't understand it. It's gay sex. So who's going to say? I honestly believe this person told the police that they had a relationship with Jax for 3.5 years. It was absolutely only a sexual relationship, because anytime Jax had anybody of importance, I knew about it. Monroe knew about it. And many times we talked about how she needed to be a little bit, don't overshare. That's tell me about your boyfriend, or tell me about, but do not go into detail. I don't want to see your breasts anymore. I saw Jack's breasts all the time. And so did Monroe. And that's because she was super proud. And she was very bent on perfection. She wanted perfection. So I did bring some work. This is Jax. It's a photograph. But she went to the Institute of Art because she didn't have enough things to do. So this is Match Point is the name of this photo, and she got 3.7 points out of 7.
3.4.
Oh, out of 4.
7 points out of 4 points.
Oh, okay. So she did a good job. But people don't realize she's that. She did lots of these, and that's kind of her color. This is her favorite color. So I have some of these, but I have this one too. I'm so fortunate, but they are going to do an actual gallery show of Jack's paintings. But this broke my heart because it is what kind of board is this?
Vision board?
A vision board. All of them. Awakening, don't settle, freedom, female, need it, want it, get comfortable, a beautiful transgender female. Beauty is a gesture, which is, that is Jax. Beauty is a gesture. I'm so fortunate to have these, because I know that she placed each and every one of the pictures, and they mean so much to her. And I really love this one. It's just black and white, but it just seems met when it's hung up on a wall. But each little finger stroke, every stroke of I just think it's awesome. And it just took so much time. So I had to share those with you.
That is lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In terms of the men who Jax was with,
Mm-hmm.
You said that the man who picked her up claims to have been in a relationship with Jax for 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you've never heard of this guy? No.
Never. This guy hasn't been mentioned in journals. Nothing. Well, I don't know. I don't know his name. I am looking for somebody named Bruce, because she wrote out a lot of her emails or her texts before she met him, or before she would send them. And they would be in green pen. I've got that notebook upstairs. So I'm looking for a Bruce. Don't know the last name. And if this guy's first name is Bruce, then she had a relationship. But there's some man named Bruce that she had a lot of respect for, that was basically a good guy, and Jax cared for. And I'm looking for Bruce. Because if it ends up being this person, but the timeline kind of goes along with her journals. So I'm looking for Bruce. Don't know last name, don't have a picture, just have text messages she wrote down in her notebook before she sent them. So it might just be a business contact that she was infatuated with her, that treated her kindly. But I don't know, it kind of seems than that to me. But I do have a lot, when she made business contacts or people were kind to her, she made sure and wrote it down, which I think is awesome, to write down the good stuff and not the bad. But I don't have those two guys' names. And I really have to question the second person involved. Who in the heck is it? Because autopsy report came out on the 6th.
Before we go further, it's important to explain what the autopsy tells us and what it doesn't.
When Jax was finally found, it was in a narrow gap between two buildings in Lakewood. She'd been last seen leaving her Denver apartment with a man. He told police that he took Jax to his office, another man arrived, and according to his account, Jax took GHB. That's the date rape drug. He says they left her snoring and vomiting inside the office. Later, when he came back, he says she was gone, and her body was eventually found below the office window.
52 days passed before Jax's body was discovered. By then, decomposition was severe, and that made the coroner's job difficult. No GHB was present in Jax's toxicology screening. But even if she had taken it, or been given it, that wouldn't be surprising. GHB breaks down quickly in the body, often within hours, and wouldn't be detectable weeks later. What did show was amphetamines, almost certainly from Jax's Adderall prescription.
The autopsy does note rib fractures and fractures to Jax's hyoid bone and thyroid cartilage in her neck. These kinds of injuries are often seen in cases of strangulation.
The coroner's conclusion was stark. They couldn't tell if Jax was pushed out of the window, if she fell, if she jumped, or if her body was dropped after her death. They couldn't rule out strangulation. They don't know how she died.
So really, what the autopsy gives us is a picture of possibilities, not a cause or a manner of death, which means that we're left with the same questions that Jax's family has been carrying since the day she was found. What really happened in that office? And how did she end up outside, dead in between the gap of two buildings?
On the 5th, Lakewood police had to get a hold of me, tell me something. They told me exactly what the coroner came up with, his opinions of what happened to Jax, about jumping, falling, pushing out the window, and that her her neck, the hyoid
Cartilage.
bone, was. He said that if she fell out backwards, it could snap that bone, which is absolutely reaching for the stars. Yeah. And so luckily my advocate was on that phone call. Every single phone call with Lakewood police is recorded by them, so they better not lose it. But it is absolutely horrifying that I didn't know any of this information, found out about it on the 5th, got the autopsy report late day on the 6th, and then tried getting a hold of my detective on the 6th, and on the 7th, I think he finally got maybe the 7th or the 8th, but had not read the autopsy report.
Okay.
He's been too busy.
Oh.
He's been too busy. And that, I think, was that Friday. I think that I think on Friday he had just said, he finally got back to me and said he's just been too busy in court. This is the end of the line with my detectives. I had the wonderful Ted Benet in Denver, and then Jax was found dead in Lakewood, and I had what was his name? Blake Stahl. And I hated him at first, but then he kind of gave me his resume, and he really was understanding. And he would listen to me, and I could call him and get a hold of him when something crazy, like a crazy tip would come in. I could get a hold of him. I could email him. I could get a hold of him. And my advocate and Blake Stahl set up communication once a week. He would call me on Thursdays. So Detective Stahl left on a Tuesday, I think he called me, and was gone the next day. And I had Fike. And Fike, from the beginning, Stahl had told me that Fike was the lead detective. There's only 3 calls that Fike was on, and the one of us him stating that who picked Jax up and took her to, stating that it was a person of her community, which I am sorry, but if you are a transgender woman and they are stating someone from your community, that is horrifying, because Jax did not, and I can tell you this, Jax had more than one community. So tell me, what community is this murderer from? Tell me, because I really hope you're not insinuating that it's from the LGBTQ plus community. And that's exactly what they were stating, because this gentleman had sex with Jax. That does not make them a person of Jax community, period.
Trans women have sex with straight men. That happens to queer women.
Exactly.
And this is, and the fact that the fact that Lakewood police don't understand that is
mind-boggling.
It is, but
mind-boggling.
After the way they have spoken to you and the things they have said about Jax, and to be slightly petty, as you know, after the email they sent me, I am not surprised. This is what I have come to expect, and it is devastating.
Yeah.
And nobody should. You should never expect to be mistreated.
No.
I mean, please. Nobody has the right to mistreat any other person. Right now, I am livid with Detective Fike. I have no trust in him. He talks to me like we're best buddies. We're not. I want information. And my advocate got to see Jack's tattoos, because it has gone on too long. What has taken place has gone on too long. I am lucky because I have Monroe. I have other children for great support. I have Jack's community, but there are other people that will go missing, end up murdered. And you know what's going to happen? If I did not push, because I was told there was accusations of Jack's drug use. Accusations. They were listening to other people calling the tip line who obviously didn't see Jax, because Jax was dead that night. Jax was not in a hotel. Jack's first drug. There's another family that will not be willing to fight for their children, or don't have Jack's community, all of her community, because this is taking all of her community. This is taking every second. And I mean, this is so time consuming for everybody involved. And that's why we have got to get justice for Jax. They cannot say that she jumped, fell, or were pushed out a tiny window, that she laid in that between two buildings for 7 weeks with nobody finding her. That is just crazy. They tell me they've done ultraviolet because I ask about that. Can we see the footprints? So on and so forth. I want the coroner's report. I want to know why my daughter, you could not recognize her tattoos because the Jeffco coroner held on to her for that long. In the beginning, they called Brandy. They called somebody else asking about Jack's throat surgery. And then I started getting memes of Jax being hung or Jax with a gun in her. They'd used Jack's face that we had done the justice for Jax and put him over that. Why in the world did I have to go through that? Why in the world did she hold on Annette Cannon, the head coroner that I got a hold of on the 17th, because Melanie thought that I was somebody else. I said, I am the mother. I'm calling. Why did you call somebody else? And Melanie said, no, you called here on the 12th. I did not call. I spent 24 hours thinking that somebody could get my daughter's body and cremate her when I the second autopsy. Annette Cannon, through emails and phone calls and horrible things with her, finally told me on the 26th that Jack's body might be released between the 30th of June and the 4th of July. Are you kidding me? The reason why she held on to it, this is what people have to do their own research. The police never asked for them to hold on to Jack's body. Never. And I had that on their tapes because I asked them point. They were waiting for consultants on Jack's case. Now, if you call a consultant, they get the x-rays, everything is on tape. All of the tissue samples, they take extra from the liver to run the tox screen. Those are all done. If the police do not ask to hold that body, usually within 48 hours, they're releasing that body. Because guess what a body does, even in refrigeration? It continues to decompose. And I want to know why my daughter was so decomposed. Did they not sew her back up after they made the cuts? I want to see the coroner's report. Because I am now a student of autopsies. And that's the main thing, is when they cut somebody open, you must sew it back up. Why was my daughter in such poor condition? Annette Cannon, I would like to know. Why, when I was calling for second autopsies, people would say, why are they holding on to her body? Did the police want? No. The police are telling me they didn't. So something's wrong here. There's absolutely, what do they have to hide? And is it because Jax was a transgender woman? And now with this second person coming in all of this, who is this second person? I have seen a picture of the first person, but you're telling me the second person has even a weirder story and didn't come forward than the first person. So come on, guys. What is it? Who is this second person?
So can I just clarify that they received Jax's body, they completed the autopsy, and then for some unknown reason continued to keep her body.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
So,
Right.
what
Like,
Jack's body is found on the 6th. I get a call from Jeffco coroner. The name was Gordon. On the 7th, morning of the 7th, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, saying they were going to do her autopsy on the 8th. The police, the DA, Detective Stahl that I'd never met would be in there. On 8th, they did her autopsy. I think 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a call from a Jillian who said that the autopsy was inconclusive, but the doctor is going to go in as part of this week, so you'll know something the first part of this week. That was Sunday, so I'm thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No later than Wednesday, right? So I waited. I waited Monday. I waited Tuesday. So 8th, nothing. Okay. That's good. Maybe they have some answers. You know, it was scary, but it was good. On the 12th, Brandy calls me and asks me about Jack's throat surgeries. So Jax never has had throat surgery. So Brandy asked other people. That's when I start the next stuff. I wait because I'm thinking, oh, the coroner called Brandy, so that's good. So he's actually in Jack's body. That's me as not knowing how autopsies work. So I wait, and then 17th I call. They call me back, Melanie, and I said, I'm Jack Gratton's mother, and I want to know why you're calling people of Jack's community instead of calling me. And she's either looking at a computer or opening up a file. She said, you called on the 12th and told us about Jack's surgeries in hospitals. And I said, I stopped her. I said, I did not. That was not me. Somebody is impersonating me. And she said, it's right here. You called on the 12th. I probably started crying at that time, but I had to argue that I was Jack's mother. And then I was horrified. And then she said she would look into it. And that's when I got an advocate, because I thought for 24 hours, I did not sleep for 24 hours because I knew on the 17th, I had been getting a hold of people, and they were like, why do they still have Jack's body? The independent coroners. And I was like, yeah, I better call, I'm going to call. And I did call. And then she told me I wasn't me, and that I had called. And that is absolutely heartbreaking. So that's when it got all elevated.
It's been incredible to learn so much about Jax as a person, and also just to learn, I suppose, what happened. It's been really informative. There's something you got into a minute ago. You said, is it because Jax is a trans woman? That's the question that I want to ask. Do you feel, both of you, that the investigation to Jax's disappearance and death has been different because she's a trans woman?
I would say yes. I just think if I was in that situation, I feel like my family would have already gotten justice. I think it would have been a lot easier for my family. A death is already hard, and I think because Jax was a transgender woman, she did not get the same treatment that I would have got, or my mom would have got, or any cis woman would have.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel there was no sense of urgency. I think that they were happy to listen to all the people that spoke horribly about Jax, even though people from all different communities of hers were saying, no, there's no way she was high on meth. She came to work every day. Somebody reported that she was smoking meth every day. I talked to her on the 11th. And if she had smoked every day meth from February, the 1st of February, until the 15th of April, physically, you would have seen it. You would have seen it physically in her face, in her mouth. She's smoking it. That is asinine. And I think the urgency of them finding Jax, I think they put on a good front. But why in the world, if they knew this person coming in and out of Jack's house on the 28th of April. Why did they not show haste in finding him? Why? She was found right underneath his office building.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy. That's crazy to me.
So they knew who he was on the 28th, and they spoke to him presumably at around that time.
No, I have no idea when they spoke to him.
That's
I have no idea. I know on the 18th, when I talked to Detective Benet, and I told him I took that down, he had called and he said, "We know who it is. We cannot arrest him out just cause. So waiting him to do something wrong, or because I had like his live where he was supposed to, however they find people. So they had tried to find him. They had to wait for him to make contact. But if this beautiful daughter went missing, are you going to wait for somebody to make contact? Are you? Are you going to wait for a 19-year-old cis female before you make contact on the person that you know saw them last? And once you've made that contact, are you not going to search every place that they were at? Are you not going to look out their window? Are you not going to figure out? I had to ask the detective if she was wearing her glasses. Was she wearing shoes? They had to look it up. And they had the picture of the last time she was seen. You're not going to forget that. If somebody was found dead with their glasses on or not. If they didn't have, why was it not reported to me? I had to ask, did she have her shoes on? They had to look at the pictures. They don't even know if she had her shoes on. I bet you if Monroe was found the same way, they would know exactly how she was found and what she was wearing.
Yeah.
My first ask was her hair tied back? They had to find the pictures. And I think that the detective that was on scene and the coroner that was on scene would be able to know from memory if her hair was tied back. And that's how I know she died late night the 15th or early morning the 16th, because Jax hated her hair tied back. She'd had the surgery to bring her hair down, and it hurt her to have her hair tied up. So thank you, Lakewood Police. Thank you for that. But I'm sorry, I'm so angry.
I can't imagine the anger. Yeah.
Ellie will remember this when Jax was missing, and this is in no way at all, not even a fraction of what you felt. But there was, shortly before Jax was found, there was a tip that was posted on the Facebook page that seemed like it was panning out, and I thought that someone had found Jax alive, and
I thought so too.
And I phoned Ellie,
and that was the one about,
yeah.
And
I phoned Ellie and I said, and we thought, and then it was.
I mean, it was such a shock to us. I can't imagine the levels of shock that you guys have gone through.
That's me, because I wanted that so to be true.
I'm so sorry.
I just so wanted it to be true, because I think when Ted Benet told me that there had been no money out of her credit card or out of her bank account, and that was probably 2 weeks, maybe a week, because they had to subpoena the records and so on and so forth. I knew she was dead, because my daughter needed money and used money. she would use her card for 35-cent pack of gum or a piece of gum. I don't even know how that works. And I knew in my head, but I kept on believing. I wanted her to be alive for my children, for me, because she really was a caretaker of everyone. She was the one who always wanted the family to get together. And she really, her dream was that we all lived in one place. I think so she could caretake us. And she looked at when Monroe had decided to go to school in Washington, she had looked at transferring her license to Seattle, or what is a big enough community that she could live in, and there was not transphobic. So here we are.
Yeah. I know you need to go. Is there anything that either of you'd like to say just before we close? You've shown so much strength through this pain. Just anything you want to add?
Where are you guys located? Where do you live?
I'm in Coventry. UK.
I'm currently just outside London in the UK.
Okay. Thank you. Hi.
Do you have anything else?
What I have to say, and I think that people don't understand this, but I have been studying the laws, and we're getting so close for justice for Jax. The main thing is, this is not just justice for Jax. This is justice for all marginalized. The color, your religion, your gender, any of that. This is for an oversight, an independent oversight committee for Lakewood Police. I cannot, right now, the accountability, nobody will ever be held accountable for the missteps or how I was treated or how my daughter was treated, how my family was treated. And it continues to go on because I am asking for Jeffco to give me the coroner's report. But it has to stop. It has to stop with justice for Jax. Because unfortunately, as horrible it is, somebody else is going to go missing. Somebody else's body is going to be found. Human decency and dignity needs to take place for all, not just for everyone. And I don't know, I only know my experience with my transgender daughter. And it's a shame. She should have been found. They should have found her a week into her being missing. A week. And there would have been evidence there. There would have been semen. There would have been what her drug use was. Taking it out of her liver after 7 weeks absolutely is asinine. Nobody asked me if she was on Adderall. She has a prescription for Adderall. Now we're having this big discussion over Adderall and methamphetamine.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even care. I don't care if she was using methamphetamine. She did not deserve to be murdered and left. I mean, I don't care. So that point, if whoever wants to argue it with me, kick sand, because I don't care. I want to hold the people that were responsible for this accountable. They need to be not in society because they do it once, they're going to do it again if they haven't already. I don't know what happened. I would love to know what happened. I would love to talk to the 2 gentlemen that feel that they did nothing wrong. Give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to them. But they will have some questions from me. And I think they're guilty as heck. And I think they should have been charged a long time ago. And I don't see any charges. I don't see either one of them in jail. And I think that if this was not my transgender daughter and this daughter, people would have them in jail. And that is horrible for a mother to think. My two daughters are absolutely beautiful. Monroe, Jax was Monroe's mentor. Jax, I think, taught Monroe how to stand up for herself and how to advocate for herself. Also, she taught her how to do her hair because she always hated on her hair. But it's not fair, and we just need justice for Jax. Everybody, both of my daughters should have been treated respectfully. Period. Whichever daughter it happened to, it should not have been treated this way. And still to this day, it's horrifying. It's horrifying, but I'm going to keep fighting. And if I don't know the answer, they keep on hitting me with legal stuff. But guess what? I can find out. Google is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Also, I have ACLU lawyers I can call. I have transgender communities I can call. I have the addiction centers I can call. And, it amazes me that they think that they can write 2 little sentences of legal stuff and I'll be off their back. That's not the case. I need something, you have it, and I want it. And I'm Jack's mother, and I'm going to fight for it. So, there.
All right. You all can hear how determined Cherilynne, Mama C. We call her Mama C for a reason, because she's Jax's mother and she's like a mother to the rest of us.
Well,
you all can hear how determined she sounds. Me and Ellie can see how determined she looks, and how quiet Monroe is still looking very determined as well. Yeah. Like, both, we want to thank you so much for joining us. The outpouring of support there has been for Jax has been incredible. It shows what a wonderful person that Jax was, and you all know I'm going to be in Denver next month, and I'm going to be at that city council meeting.
Thank you.
I'm going to try and do what I can while I'm there for CrimeCon, but just thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys. And I'm not at all. We are privileged that you would choose to talk to us. So,
oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being there from the beginning, and keep yourselves safe. Period. Like this one too. Yes, thank you guys. Don't trust anybody. I love you.
All right, I love you. Yeah, back to work.
One. That was an emotional conversation, not just because of the grief and the love that we heard, but because it underscored how much is still unknown. Behind every line in an autopsy or every redaction in a police report, there are people living with the pain of not knowing what happened. That's why police accountability isn't optional, it's essential. This investigation cannot be allowed to stall or fade away, and the people responsible for it need to know that the community is watching. We support the call for an independent oversight committee for the Lakewood PD.
I'll be in Denver in September for CrimeCon, and while I'm there, I'll be standing with Jax's communities at the City Council meeting. If you're there too, please come and say hi. I'm Jessica. I'm friendly. Together, we have to keep pushing, keep showing up, and keep demanding justice.
And finally, our heartfelt thanks to Cherilynne and Monroe for trusting us with their voices, their memories, and their fight for Jax.
Yeah, thanks, Cherilynn and Monroe. And thank you for listening, guys. Please do give the episode a share, give us a follow and a 5-star rating. You can check us out on social media at Version of Events. Check out our website, www.versionofevents.co.uk.
And if you've got a case recommendation for us, do drop us an email at versionofevents@gmail.com or message us on social media. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, we do. So until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.